ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजाताम् सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजना सहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते प्रणमामि हरि। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निधि नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशधारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So thank you all for assembling here for this last and final session of our IOS camp today. How many of you are enjoying the camp? Wow, Hari Bol. So after a hectic mountain trekking and then river bathing was yesterday, and then visiting the temple here and our participation in the quiz. It was nice to see that everyone actively participating in the discussion, which ended up becoming almost a debate, at least there, and arguing, going back and forth. So I just remembered my old college days when I got newly introduced to Krishna consciousness. I was in my third year of engineering. That's when I first saw a Bhagavad Gita in one of my friend's school. And then gradually, then they introduced me to the regular weekly program. So that was the time when I got introduced. And I started reading the books, Prabhupada's small books, Rasaraj, Krishna, and Coming Back, and Laws of Nature, Beyond Birth, and then all those books I started reading. So in those days, myself and one more friend of mine, we were the ones who were chanting Hare Krishna regularly in the hostel. And these friends of mine from other divisions, they would come to our room and start asking questions. They would come as if they are eager and curious to know, but actually they are coming for debate, to debate how you guys are wrong and how all this is nonsense, what you are doing. The same question, the non-veg का बात चल रहा था हमारा उधर, कैसे प्लांट्स में भी तो लाइफ है ना, वो भी तो जान है, लाइफ है, वो भी आप खा रहे तो वो भी उतना ही सिंपल है. And then about the population increasing, how if you don't eat animals, उनके population बढ़ जाएंगे, फिर क्या होगा उसका? As if they are taking care of the burden of maintaining the population of all the species in the world. So for the population, I would answer, तो चूहों का population कौन maintain कर? आप लोग खा के maintain हो रहा है क्या? And then cockroaches, how are that population maintained? There's so many species of animals which we don't eat, but their population is maintained. But only for chicken and beef and mutton you have to eat in order to maintain their population, and fish. And then I would answer, so what about artificially raising their population? Chicken, poultry farms, mein, you raise the population. And then to control that increased population, you want to eat them. So all these logical flaws people have, which they appear to be very, very powerful arguments. But all these arguments that materialistic people pose, it's actually without any foundation. So if we think about them with a cool mind and with the help of Prabhupada's purports, then we will be easily able to defeat them. Of course, we don't want to simply defeat them. We don't want to simply win the argument. We want to win over them and win the people ultimately. So the point was, these people would come with arguments, and then because we were regularly reading Prabhupada's books, at least we were able to defend ourselves, if not defeat them. So as we know, we have these 4 principles, ABCD of spiritual life. How many of you know what the ABCD are? A for association, B for book reading, C for chanting, D for diet. So B is for books. Prabhupada used to say, books are the basis. Utility is the principle. Purity is the force. And preaching is the essence. Books are the basis. That means our whole movement is resting on books. Books are the foundation. Utility is the principle. That means Yukta Vairagya, which means anything that we get, all kinds of material resources that we may accumulate, whether it is money, influence, power, any kind of resources that we accumulate or we get, we have to utilize them in spiritual life, in Krishna's service. So we don't reject artificially, ye sab nahi chahiye, ye hi lunga, main ye nahi lunga, like artificially yogis and sannyasis do. We don't accept money, we don't accept this. We accept everything, Prabhupada used to say. We will accept everything and we will use them, everything in Krishna's service. So utility is the principle. Then purity is the force. If we have to be successful in any mission, in any project in Krishna's service, then what exactly is the ultimate need? Not our managerial skills, not our intelligence, not our knowledge, not our scholarship, not our money. Prabhupada didn't have any of these. He didn't have money when he went to America. He didn't have influential contacts. He was not a big academic scholar with PhD degrees, and he didn't have any people supporting him. But what did he have? Purity of mission, purity of purpose. His his faith in the holy name, his faith in the words of the spiritual master, his faith in the message of the Srimad Bhagavatam. He had pure faith, and that purity enabled him to break that barrier of Western materialism, Western impersonalism. Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarani. Say, right? So no one else before had even attempted to preach the message of the Gita. Forget about succeeding to do that. And finally, he was able to break open and successfully install and establish Krishna Conscious Institution in a place where people had no awareness about Krishna, no awareness about Bhagavad Gita. Like the other day, I was sharing, some people accuse or undermine Prabhupada's efforts. They say, अरे Prabhupada वहां पे गए थे, उतना क्या बड़ी बात है उसमें? He just happened to be at the right place at the right time when people were already favorable, और when Prabhupada succeeded. मतलब और कोई अगर जाता था वहीं पे with the message of the Gita in those period 1960s and 70s और न्यूयॉर्क में जाते थे तो they also would have succeeded. Not a big deal about Prabhupada succeeding there. So Prabhupada ne suna argument how people are sometimes making undermining his efforts. Then Prabhupada gave an example. He told a story to show how this is invalid. He gave the story of Columbus. Columbus का नाम सुना है ना? One who traveled across the world, discovered America. So he gave the story of Columbus. So Columbus one time went to the Queen of England. बोला कि मुझे पैसे चाहिए, शिप चाहिए, because I want to discover new lands. So the ministers there, they said, हाँ, new land, पैसा मत खर्च करो, don't waste money on him. But the Queen had faith. The Queen gave him money, people, and a big ship to discover new lands. And then Columbus set forth west, London se westwards. And then we know how he went and finally reached America. So after discovering America, he came back. Of course, he thought it was India. Then he came back and he reported how I went and discovered new land, rich. तो जैसे सब लोगों ने सुना, बाकी मिनिस्टर्स ने बोला हाँ, उसमें क्या बड़ी बात है. All he had to do was just keep going west, keep going. Finally कहीं ना कहीं तो पहुंचेगा ना, उसमें क्या बड़ी बात है. तो कोलंबस ने बोला ऐसा नहीं है. You needed intelligence, you needed courage and determination. इतना आसानी से नहीं होता है. तो ऐसा कुछ नहीं. Then okay, I'll tell you to do one thing. He gave them an egg. एक अंडा दिया. Make this egg stand on its base. So they took the egg, they tried hard, but they couldn't make it stand on the base. So Columbus took the egg, he boiled the egg, tapped the base, खड़ा किया, खड़ा हो गया. तो बोला देखा, you need intelligence, it's a simple thing, but you need intelligence to make it stand. Similarly, कुछ भी करना हो दिखने में सिंपल लगता है, लेकिन it takes effort and intelligence and energy, determination. So Prabhupada quoted this story of Columbus and Queen to show preaching in the West is not easy. ऐसा नहीं कोई भी कर सकता है. It needed effort and it needed intelligence and determination. Ultimately, Krishna's grace. So point is how after Prabhupada, इतने लोग गए. Now people are going to the West. So many sannyasis, so many other organizations, people, leaders are going to the West and trying to preach and now succeeding. But the first person to do was who? Prabhupada. So we give the example of needle. कपड़े में अगर सिलाना हो, the first it has to be the needle, sharp pointed edge. Yes. वो अगर घुस गया, then the thread can easily go. If you try to put the thread directly, it won't go. So Prabhupada is like the needle who cracked open that hard barrier successfully. And then after that, so many people are going, even our brahmacharis are going, so many of them going to the West and preaching. But the initial आदमी जो जाता है ना, he takes the biggest courage and effort, and because of which others are able to go. And so Prabhupada, without any support, it is said he had only 40 rupees. शुरुआत में 40 Indian currency rupees when he went to the West. He didn't have dollar exchange, and there no one is accepting rupees. He got some money when he first sold three volumes of his Srimad Bhagavatam, the captain of the ship, Captain Pandya. So thoda kuch paisa mila. That was the only currency he had in the West. And then after there, someone supported him, Mr. Agarwal, Gopal Agarwal, Sally Agarwal. वहां पे जाके रुकना चालू किया. तो point is he had no money, no contact, nothing he had, but he had purity of force. So books are the basis, purity is the force, utility is the principle, and preaching is the essence. How ultimately Lord Chaitanya's prediction is there. Every town and village, his holy name will be chanted, and his desire is there. His holy name should be chanted everywhere. People should take to the process of Krishna consciousness. So preaching, everything that we do, we want every activity that we do is ultimately a preaching. Our deity worship is a preaching. Our giving classes is a preaching. Harinam Sankirtan is preaching. Book distribution is preaching. Our behavior ultimately He is also preaching. How we behave has the greatest impact on people. Not our temple structure, not our organizational skills, personal behavior, acharan, ultimately what impacts people. So all these four principles are there. So books are the basis. Why books are the basis? If you look at the spread of other religions, Vaisheshika Prabhu discusses about the printing press. The printing press was invented sometime in 17th century. And the first thing they printed was Bible, about 150 copies. So before that, Bible was handwritten and people had to create their own copies. But when the printing machine came, they printed 150 copies of Bible. It was like a big revolutionary success. इतना एक साथ में 150 printed without handwritten, and it was immediately sold. And then they understood the power of the press. एक साथ इतना print करो, mass distribution. And then gradually the next print run, it became more number of copies and then more number of copies. So that time, the 16th, 16th, 17th century, in India, we didn't have the technology to print, to manufacture printing press. Our acharyas were writing in palm leaves. They had a special technology of using special ink. उसको एक साइड में लिख लिया, so page 1. फिर page 2 नहीं लिख सकता है, क्योंकि page 1 गीला है अभी. You have to write page 3. That's how Jiva Goswami and all used to write. Page 1, page 3. Page 3 होने के बाद page 1 का सूखा हो गया, उसको उल्टा करो, page 2. मतलब where to end, where to start page 3. वहाँ page 2 कहाँ पे end होगा, सब उनका दिमाग में है. And then they would write page 2, फिर page 4. That's how they used to write. So in this way, we were quite behind in terms of technology. धीरे धीरे technology आ गया. By the time Bhaktivinoda Thakur came, he was like convinced this has to be there. We should publish our literatures with the technology. And then Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur came. He said it is Brihat Mridanga. So when we play Mridanga, regular Mridanga, it can be heard only on a few blocks, few buildings, right? But if we print books, which is like glorification of Krishna, that can go everywhere. And that can be heard. Krishna Kirtan can be heard miles together. लेकिन यहाँ पे प्रिंट किया मैंने 1000 बुक्स. इट कैन गो एनीवेयर ऑल ओवर द वर्ल्ड. तो ये मृदंग, ये जो प्रिंटिंग प्रेस का आवाज कहीं भी सुनाई दे सकता है. He called it बृहद मृदंग, big giant मृदंग. So that is the power of press. So all our acharyas, beginning with the 6 Goswamis, of course earlier acharyas also, Vyasadeva and all, everyone used to write, because writing literature was considered the highest service. Yesterday we heard Nanda Dulal talking about Vyasadev's writing, right? Vyasadeva feeling compassion for the fallen souls of Kali Yuga, future fallen souls, because their intelligence is manda, sumanda, matayo, manda, bhagya. ऐसे लोगों को कैसे उद्धार करना चाहिए? This was his compassion. Therefore, he wrote all the Vedic literatures in written form. So every acharya, his main concern is how I can deliver them from their ignorance. Every other thing can be done, but writing, sharing knowledge is considered the highest, most compassionate service. So if we have knowledge and if we keep it to ourselves, it is considered a form of violence. If you have the technique of rescuing someone from their problem, and if you don't share it, it is considered violence. And if you share it, it is considered the biggest compassionate service. So every acharya in our line, 6 Goswamis they wrote. Unke next, Kaviraj Goswami, he wrote the Chaitanya Charitamrita and so many other books. Then Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Baldev Vidyabhushan, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, everyone used to write. Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote so many books. उनका अगर index पढ़ेंगे आप, तो index itself runs into several pages, the list of books. number of books he wrote. So many dozens of books. So these people are all into writing, sharing knowledge. And people are always, human mind is always hungry for exciting concepts. If you present an idea, if there's a good concept, good idea, human mind is always hungry to hear that. So therefore, those concepts have to be written down and shared. Therefore, our acharyas used to write these books. And what can be the best of ideas that is presented in better than the ideas presented in the Srimad Bhagavatam and the Gita? The concept of the soul and the soul's reincarnation. You talk to some new people and tell them about soul getting reincarnated, how they take new bodies, how they get entangled in the law of karma. If someone is serious and inquisitive, his eyes will actually step out. Wow, something like that. I am getting new bodies and I suffering the laws of action and reaction. What will determine my next body? What will make me go to an animal body? These all concepts. अभी हम लोग तो बार-बार सुनते हैं ना, हमको लगता है ठीक है तो कोई बड़ी बात नहीं है. लेकिन for a new person, it's all exciting concepts, and people are actually eager to hear about all these things. So if you present them nicely and professionally, then people accept it. Therefore, books are important. Books doesn't necessarily mean the print version, digital version we also have. But the concept, the ideas have to be shared. Therefore, these acharyas used to write these books in different forms. So any book, the Vyasadeva wrote the book, Krishna spoke the Gita, but that book in its original form will not be understood by people in the next generations. The same idea has to be presented according to the current time, place, and circumstance. So Krishna spoke the Gita. And then our Acharya explained the Gita. Like we have the commentary of Sridhar Swami. So now Sridhar Swami ka naam? Sridhar Swami is an Acharya from 12th century. He is known as the best commentator on the Srimad Bhagavatam. Earliest commentator on the Srimad Bhagavatam. And then unke baad Ramanujacharya Acharya, Madhvacharya came. They also wrote their commentaries. And then Lord Chaitanya came. Lord Chaitanya explained it. So many Atma Ram verse and so many other discussions we have. Then other acharyas. 6 Goswami wrote commentaries. Sanatan Goswami, Rupa Goswami wrote commentaries. So as time progresses, you can't simply present the same book as it is. Some acharya, local current acharya, has to comment upon it and explain the message without diluting it, without modifying it. But according to the current people's intelligence and language and understanding, the same idea have been present. 6 Goswamis का literature है हमारे पास, but we can't read it now. It's in Sanskrit. We can't read it. Even if we understand Sanskrit, we won't understand because वहाँ का वो time place अलग ही है. Then other next acharyas, then Bhakti Vinod Thakur presented it. Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur presented it. He wrote his Anubhashya commentary. And then now if you read even Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur's commentary, you won't understand. The language is, his English is considered very high class. Vocabulary समझ में नहीं आएगा. And then in other things also we won't understand much. We can read, but we won't understand. Then Prabhupada presents the same teachings of Bhakti Siddhanta in his own language. So in this way, local current acharyas present the same knowledge according to the modern immediate audience around them. So Prabhupada, when he went to the West, he started writing, dictating on his dictaphone. And the disciples would come together and transcribe it and then print the books. So within a short span of 11 years, Prabhupada was able to complete almost the entire Bhagavatam. He completed Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna book, teachings of Lord Chaitanya. So many books he wrote. So many conversations, morning walk conversations, discussions with so many leaders. Everything was transcribed and published as books. One man cannot do this, but he did all these things. So books, sharing of knowledge in the form of books. Therefore, we have the books available. So many of the books available. So these books form the foundation of our movement. The knowledge that is contained in these books form the core part of our teachings. The same knowledge of Krishna, but as presented by Prabhupada. That's important. Because Gita commentary, Prabhupada himself writes in the introduction to the Gita. When I came to America, there was more than 600 translations of Gita in English already. And someone may ask me, why you read another version of the Gita? So Prabhupada writes, every Gita translation has been written with a personally motivated interpretation. Which means the translator is writing the book because he has got some agenda, personal agenda to fulfill. And through the Gita, through the words of Krishna, he is inserting his own agendas. Therefore, it is not as it is. It is not called Gita as it is. Therefore, I have to write because I want to present Krishna's message as it is, without any adulteration, without any personal agendas. So therefore, the Bhagavad Gita, this Bhagavad Gita, as it is, became successful. No other Gita, Prabhupada himself writes, was able to produce even one devotee of Krishna. So many sannyasis, yogis, and babas came from India. They compromised the philosophy, diluted the philosophy. None of them was able to produce even one devotee of Krishna. But why this book is successful? Because I am not compromising the message. I am presenting the words of my Guru and the words of Krishna as it is. And look at the result. He himself says, look at the result. So many people have taken the message and have become devotees of Krishna. So in this way, these books form the foundation of our movement. And all our activities, all our projects, all our accomplishments are successful because we are trying to follow the teachings contained in these books. So when you follow the message of the teacher as it is, then you get success. Like we give the example, right? एक manufacturer कोई device है, उसका manual है. When you follow the manual properly, follow all the instructions of the manual, whether it is a mobile phone हो या refrigerator हो, computer हो, कुछ भी हो. When you follow the instructions clearly, then you get the maximum use of the machine. But if you disregard the manual, और हमारा खुद का दिमाग लाएंगे, यहाँ वहाँ बटन कोई भी दबाएंगे, कोई भी इंस्ट्रक्शन फॉलो करेंगे, then we damage the machine. We don't get the maximum best benefit out of the device. Similarly, when we follow the message of the Gita as it is strictly, without compromising, without diluting, then we get the best benefit out of the book. Adhyeshate cha imam dharmyam samvadamavayo jnana yajnena tenaham ishtasyamiti me. Krishna says, one who studies this conversation between you and me, O Arjun, adhyeshate cha imam dharmyam samvadam. This religious, sacred conversation between both of us, such a person is worshipping me with his इंटेलिजेंस. तो जैसे हम लोग भगवान की आरती उतारते हैं, अगरबत्ती धूप दिया सब लगा के, we are worshipping Krishna with all these pancha mahabhuta, 5 elements, earth, water, fire, air, etc. Similarly, when we study the Gita, we are worshipping the same Krishna using our intelligence. So when we apply our intelligence to understand what message Krishna is trying to convey, what is the science behind his instruction, that means we are using our intelligence and we are worshipping Krishna with our intelligence. So therefore, we have to regularly study these books. So basically, why should we study the books? I have tried to list out 2 or 3 main purposes. One purpose why we read the books is for self-purification. Like Lord Chaitanya says, Janma sarthaka kari kara paropakar. Anyone who has taken birth in this land of India, his first primary duty is Janma sarthaka kari. खुद को बचाओ पहले, खुद का जीवन सार्थक करो, and kara paropakar. Then save others, share with others. So we all are drowning in this ocean of material existence. We all have our anarthas inside. है कि नहीं? Lust, anger, greed, envy, pride, illusion, हमारे सबके अंदर है कि नहीं? To various degrees. The proportion may vary, but we all have these enemies within. Shad Ripu, 6 enemies categories. Lust, and the desire to exploit material resources, especially the opposite sex. Anger, unfulfilled lust causes anger. Lust, when it is fulfilled, it causes greed. Pride, pride about my own achievements, my own success, my own accomplishments, my own greatness. We feel proud. I am. मैं कुछ कम नहीं. Pride, illusion, illusion about our reality. We don't know what exactly reality is. We all have our conceptions of reality. ये ऐसा होना चाहिए, ऐसा होना चाहिए, ऐसा होना चाहिए. We have our definitions and ideology about reality, the purpose of life, the purpose of this existence, the purpose of what is happening in this world, how the way we analyze things. It's our own reality. So Shastra says our reality is illusory. ये मोहित हुआ reality. And we have envy towards others. If someone else succeeds, does better than me, I feel I want to drag him down. I want to compete with him. I want to take up his position. I want to take credits. If someone else does something, I want to take that credit. If I do something bad, I want to put the blame on others. So this is a typical problem with the conditions code. Taking undue credit and giving undue blame to others. So these anarthas, lust, anger, greed, envy, pride, illusion, these are infecting every one of us to various degrees. The primary purpose of studying Shastra is to understand the danger of harboring these things in our heart. Our modern education system doesn't talk about the dangers of cultivating these qualities. We are taught about so many technical subjects which will help us earn money outside. But no one rarely talks about character development. स्कूल में हमारा ये था एक moral science बोल के सब्जेक्ट था. अब लोगों को था क्या? The moral science subject was the most neglected subject. Hardly anyone would pay attention, and hardly anyone took interest in that subject. Some story about how one should be honest, झूठ नहीं बोलना चाहिए और किसी को दुख नहीं पहुंचाना चाहिए. And it's the typical childish some story would be there, and who cared to follow them? No one cared to follow them because people who are speaking about it, they don't follow. None of our elders follow. No one is, unless you emphatically talk about that subject repeatedly, only then that message is gone inside. Throughout the day, throughout our life, everywhere in society, people are talking about how to make money, how to become successful, but character development पे emphasis कितना है? Therefore, such messages are not taken seriously. But Shastras emphatically talk about the dangers of lust, the dangers of anger, envy, pride, the dangers of lust. Ravan is the best example, right? How Ravan epitomized lust. And because of one mistake he did, his whole entire dynasty got destroyed. Then we read the story of Ajamil, right? Again, lust, how he got attracted to the prostitute, how he kicked away his wife and elderly parents. He got that prostitute home, he spent all his life, and how he got the darshan of Yamadutas. Yamaduto ka darshan ho gaya, then he woke up. And then he transformed his life. He got a second chance. Right? So when these kind of stories are emphasized repeatedly in our discussions, then we understand, oh, ये बहुत dangerous है भाई. I can't take this lightly. I have to work on it. I have the same Ajamil tendency, Ravan tendency within my heart. What am I doing to get rid of it? So when we read Prabhupada's books, then we understand the dangers of these anarthas. If I have these anarthas, if I don't work on these anarthas, which means I have to come back again. I may have to even go and take darshan of Yamadutas. I may have to go there, spend some time there, I will go through repeated birth and death. I may not get a second chance like Ajam will. Who knows? Everyone's destiny is different. So lust के बारे में dangers, greed, Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu story we hear. How he was greedy for the entire universe. Still he was not happy. Right? Prahlad says, you have everything, but still you are not happy. Such a miserable condition. Just imagine you have everything that no one else has, and still if someone is unhappy, unsatisfied. What can be a more miserable condition than that? इससे और कुछ मिलना बचा ही नहीं है, सब कुछ मिल गया मेरे पास, आ गया. Still I am unhappy. Anger. We find the story of Shishupal, Hiranyaksha. These are the demons that have symbolizing anger. And all the asuras, the 10th canto में पढ़ते हैं हम लोग, Aghasur, Bakasur, all these demons that came to kill Krishna. They're all angry, wanting to kill Krishna. And how Krishna destroyed, killed all of them. So, in the Gita, Krishna says, Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsa Sangasteshu Pajayate. Sangat Sanjayate Kama. Kamat Krodho Vijayate. Krodha Dhovati Samoha Samoha Smriti Vibhrama. Smriti Bhramsha Buddhinasha Buddhinasha Pranashyati. So begins with simple contemplation of some sense object. ध्यान से चालू हो गया. धीरे धीरे step by step how that person falls down. 8 steps beginning with contemplation. 8 step में आदमी का पतन कैसे होता है पूरी तरह से. Krishna is speaking in 2 verses. The second chapter towards the end, Krishna is talking about how a yogi should be careful about his senses wandering here and there. Even if there one sense out of the 5 goes out of control, how his whole life can be spoiled completely. Krishna is warning. And then he says, a yogi should be like a tortoise. Tortoise एक ऐसे shell है, 5 limbs है, 4-5 limbs, and tortoise is always careful. Danger कहाँ है? Danger कहाँ है? जैसे थोड़ा सा भी danger दिखाई दिया, what does he do? Withdraws. Shell के अंदर protected. Shell के ऊपर हाथी भी नहीं पैर रखा तो टूटेगा नहीं, उतना strong वो shell है. So yogi should be like that. Krishna is warning. The moment he sees even slightest danger, withdraw. हम लोग क्या करते हैं ना, हम लोग जब तक डेंजर का मार नहीं खाते हैं ना हम लोग, we keep our limbs outside the ship. ठीक है, थोड़ा सा ठीक है, और थोड़ा सा, जब तक फटका नहीं बैठते ना हम लोग को, तब तक हम लोग आगे बढ़ते रहते हैं. और कृष्णा से योगी मतलब एंटीना हमेशा खड़ा होने का. डेंजर आ गया मतलब withdraw. Unless it is safe, don't go ahead. Because anytime my spiritual life can be spoiled. यदा संहरते चायं कूर्मोऽङ्गानि सर्वशः इन्द्रियाणि इन्द्रियार्थेभ्यः तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता. Yogi will withdraw. So in this way, all these instructions are there that warn us about how our anarthas can come out anytime and destroy our spiritual life. Chaitanya Chandra says, the best way to practice sense control is to avoid places that require sense. So we don't have to think, okay, my senses are controlled. चलो वहाँ जाता हूँ, वहाँ पे I am strong enough. वहाँ पे थोड़ा I can take the risk, and then we go there, and then we are successful. Successfully sense control हो गया मेरा, and then we go take greater risk. Again we are successful, and then we take one more risk. और वो risk इतना भारी पड़ता है, and then we say, ये spiritual life काम नहीं कर रहा है, I'm fallen, this and that. We go to the other extreme. So therefore, we don't take unnecessary risks. There are already enough risks in our life. Maya will already give us enough temptations and allurements. We don't have to voluntarily go and test our senses. देखता हूँ मेरा कितना सेंस कंट्रोल है, ऐसा करने की बिल्कुल जरूरत है. it will automatically come. Maya will already give us the risks test. So there are two choices we have all the time. One is the right choice, one is the alluring choice. So these two choices. Krishna talks about alluring choices all the time. Be careful about temptations. Don't go there. Alluring choice means the choices that will take us away from Krishna. Right choices means the choices that will take us closer to Krishna. So we have to make these choices all the time. Like Maharaj talks about the good dog and the bad dog. Journey home. And the two dogs are there within our heart. One dog is like all those anarthas shouting, and the good dog is all the good qualities. So the dog that we feed the most will become stronger and will suppress the other dog. If we feed the bad dog, the anarthas, and it will suppress the good dog. So we have to make sure we feed the good dog. So purification is the main purpose for which we are reading Prabhupada's books. We are not reading Prabhupada's books simply to collect information. अरे ये स्टोरी का क्या हो गया, ये नॉलेज, ये इंफॉर्मेशन, ये कहानी, ये पुरानी का रेफरेंस. Information unlimited available है, then there is no end to information. We are not trying to read Prabhupada's books to impress the audience, impress our people, to show how great scholar I am, how many shlokas I know, how much information I have. That is not the purpose of reading books. That purpose is for the Gyanis. Gyanis have to read a lot of books and they have to present. They're doing presentations and they have to show that they have to perform, get PhD degrees. That is not the purpose. Our main purpose is self-purification. The more we hear these vibrations contained in these books, then our mind and intelligence get purified. Just like, all these machines are calibrated, weighing machine ho, even electronic machine, they have to be calibrated. If 1 volt potential difference दिखाया, तो 1 volt दिखाना चाहिए. है कि नहीं? अगर 1 volt नहीं दिखा, 1.2 दिखा रहा है, that means calibration में गड़बड़ है. So we have to recalibrate the device. 1 kg अगर weight डाला, it should show 1 kg. अगर 9.9 kg दिखा रहा है, that means calibration में गड़बड़ है. So regularly these people have to calibrate the machines. Similarly, our intelligence also needs calibration. The intelligence से काटा ना, कभी यहाँ हो जाता. That means what is right, we may forget. We may think, अरे थोड़ा सा ये भी तो ठीक है ना, थोड़ा ऐसा भी ठीक है ना. These values are there, is also good. इतना क्या बुरा है इसमें, इतना ही गड़बड़ है. Or this way, we can go to either side, left wing, right wing, too liberal, too conservative. Our intelligence can go here and there. So to keep the intelligence in the right direction, pointing towards the right goal and purpose of life, we need to regularly read and hear these divine instructions contained in our books. Because what we think is right may not be what the right thing Krishna is saying. So even if we have understood before, over a period of time, sakalene hamata yogo nashta parantapa. This knowledge, our tendency is to forget. Our tendency is to compromise. Our tendency is to dilute. So इसके लिए बार-बार पढ़ना पड़ता है. Even if we have attended all these courses the first time and understood perfectly, but over a period of time, because we are in touch with the material energy, so degradation होता है. Our understanding gets compromised. That's what Krishna says in the Gita to Arjuna. I spoke this knowledge long back to the Vivaswan, to the sun god. Prabhupada gives a calculation, kitne saal ho gaya approximately. He says some 9 million years ago. Krishna spoke the Gita to sun god. He gives a calculation of the yugas, every yuga ka itna age hai. So approximately 9 million years, some number he gives in the purport. Lekin over a period of time, sakale neha mahata yogo nashta. This knowledge got compromised. Therefore, Arjuna, I am speaking the same thing to you. Your Vivaswan ko suna hai. The same pure knowledge I am imparting to you. And for the benefit of everyone. Because that is the effect of time. Time सब कुछ नष्ट होता है, सब कुछ degrade होता है, decay. Time has this power of degrading things. And whether you purchase a new machine, new laptop, or a new sound system, new building bando, over a period of time, the thing will deteriorate in quality. And one day it will be destroyed. Similarly, our consciousness also, it may be pure at one point of time. When we come to temple, when we hear satsang program, when we come for such camps, our mind is purified and our intelligence is purified. But over a period of time, right, it becomes contaminated. So it happens over the ages. Satya Yuga is the highest purity. Then Treta Yuga, it compromised. Dwapara Yuga still more compromised. Kali Yuga still more. So therefore, the acharyas and avatars keep coming regularly. Every yuga, Bhavami yuga, to restore the purity back to its original state. Then again, after some time, it will come down. Again, avatar comes, re-establishes pure teaching. So एक curve ऐसा चलता रहता है. So Lord Chaitanya came recently 500 years ago, and all the acharyas came, Prabhupada came. So all the purpose is what? The same thing. Again, restore the pure teachings, bring it to its original pure state. Because over a time, it gets compromised. So similarly, when we read these books, our understanding, personal individual understanding, gets reinstated into its pure state. Therefore, we have to repeatedly read these books. Sometimes what happens is, when we read especially Prabhupada's purports, we feel, let's say, same thing. I am a spirit soul, Krishna is Supreme Lord, and we are part and parcel of Krishna, and how we are entangled in the material energy, and और क्या रहता है? 3 modes of material nature, how we are getting affected, and how we are caught up in the cycle. We have to go back to Godhead, surrender to Krishna, right? Ultimately, every purport may aim to Prabhupada. But it's important we have to repeatedly hear the same thing, because although we have heard this many times, it hasn't got registered into our system. The fact that we still enjoy sense gratification shows that this thing has not got registered in our mind. So therefore, a repeated hearing, repeated discussion is important. The same basic principles, naya kuch nahi hai, but same thing we have to repeatedly hear and discuss. Then that purification happens. So in this way, self-purification is the main purpose of reading Prabhupada books. Second reason is for application and transformation. Not for impressing the audience. I want to apply them. I want to experience the benefit of these teachings. And Krishna gives so many valuable instructions. Matra, sparsha, tolerate this. You can never change the external conditions. There will always be suffering and enjoyment, suffering, enjoyment, suffering, enjoyment. You have to tolerate this. Prahlad Maharaj says in his instructions to his schoolmates, classmates, he says, Sukham Indriyakam Daitya Deha Yogena Dehina Sarvatra Labhyate Daivat Yatha Dukkham Yatnatana. He says, Sukha और दुख जो है ना, ये तुम्हारे जीवन में फिक्स्ड. थोड़ा कुछ उन्नीस ऊपर नीचे कर सकते हैं आप लोग. Don't waste your time in adjusting this calculation of happiness and distress. It's a waste of time. He said, just like miseries come to your life without invitation, similarly, happiness will come to your life without invitation. This is Prahlad saying. How many of you are convinced about this? So just like हम लोग दुख के पीछे भगते हैं, अरे यार मेरे जीवन में 15 दिन से कुछ दुख नहीं आया, चलो थोड़ा बीमारी, थोड़ा सर्दी, थोड़ा खांसी ले लेता हूँ. ऐसा नहीं होता है ना. It automatically comes. Similarly, Prahlad says, सुख भी है ना तुम्हारे जीवन में without effort आ जाएगा. You don't have to work for it. If you are destined for happiness, it will come to you. Now, this is such an important concept. Because our whole life, our whole culture, civilization is directed towards increasing material happiness. The entire civilization is designed, you work. 8 घंटे 10 घंटे का हमको 10 का 12 घंटे का पैसा कमाओ, because that will ensure more and more happiness. Prahlad says that is a waste. It's a waste of time. Instead of wasting your time in trying to acquire more happiness, material happiness, you spend your time trying to acquire spiritual success. That is not fixed. Material happiness is almost fixed. Therefore, tat prayaso na kartavyo yata ayudhya param na tatha vindate kshemam mukunda charanam. Therefore, my dear friends, tat prayaso na kartavyo. Don't waste your time in this prayas. इतना hard struggle for existence के पीछे मत भागो. न तथा विन्दते क्षेमं मुकुन्द चरणं. Try to attain the lotus feet of Krishna. That's where your real happiness lies. Spiritual happiness. That's what also Rishabh Dev also says. What is that? Kalena Sarvat. He says, forget the sloka. He says, oh my sons, don't spend your time in trying to enjoy material happiness available everywhere. Instead, obtain Brahma Saukhyam Tvana. Effort, we endeavor for that. So, application personal transformation. When we hear these kind of things, we apply in our life, then we see the effect. Wow, it's such a transformational effect in my life. So that is one purpose. And finally, equipping ourselves. We read these books not just for my information, but I want to defend myself. Like there are arguments and challenges. People come and challenge you. Why you are doing all this? It's all nonsense. We have to defend ourselves. We have to protect our faith. So when we hear these instructions and we are equipped with it, then we are able to at least maintain my faith. And if possible, we should start sharing this. Help others take up the process. Preaching. Preaching is another important element. When we hear these books, hear this knowledge, we should develop a desire to share it with others. Because there is nothing superior to this. The most highest knowledge. Nacha tasma manushkeshu kaschin me priyakruttamah bhavita nacha me tasma anya priyadarohi. Krishna is saying Arjuna. There is no one more dear to me than the one who is sharing this knowledge with others. One who is preaching this knowledge. One who preaches is the most favorite devotee of mine. Krishna says. So if you want to attract Krishna's attention, the best thing to do is preach. And this way we attract Krishna's attention. So therefore, so it's 4:40, my time is up. So self-purification and what kya bola maine? Application and transformation for our own selves and equipping ourselves with all the ammunition with the challenges. The moment you put a tilak, take your bead bag and start traveling, people will start questioning. Especially when you go to office, when you go to society, or maybe your family members also, they will start challenging. Why do this? Why not do this? Why not worship this? हम भी तो भक्त है भाई, क्या कम भक्त है? One person was saying, तुम ये माला करके घूम रहे हैं ना, सब दिखावा, सब दिखाने के लिए कर रहे. हम लोग क्या सब अंदर अंदर भक्ति अंदर. So people will say all kinds of arguments. We have to defend our faith. We have to defend our practices. We have to defend our acharyas. We have to defend Krishna ultimately. We have to sacrifice our life for Krishna. So then we need this knowledge and defend, philosophically defend. Like Jiva Goswami defended Rupa Goswami when that, who was that? Rupa Narayan came and challenged, you sign this patra, Digvijay patra. So Rupa Goswami said, मेरे को ये तेरे बकवास डिबेट में टाइम वेस्ट नहीं करना है, ये साइन करके दे दिया उसको. तो जीव गोस्वामी ने देखा नहीं, इसने मेरा रूपा और सनातन को हरा दिया. I can't believe this. Even to आज कोपचे में सब लोग उसको लेके गया and he debated with him. And he defeated him. That's how Jiva Goswami's spirit was. To defend his uncles, defend his spiritual master. So that's how we should be. Anyone who challenges, criticizes our parampara, criticizes Krishna, speaks against Krishna and his practices and teachings, we have to defend. So therefore, we have to study these books, understand the principle, understand the philosophy, and apply it in our life. So thank you so much, and thanks again for taking out your precious time, coming all the way from your busy schedules, from your studies, and from your offices, and participating this, inspiring everyone, inspiring each other. And I hope you benefited out of this camp. And please take this, whatever you have learned, whatever you have gained, please take home to Bombay and practice it and share it with others. And we hope to see you again in our next camp, whenever it happens, wherever it happens. Every once or twice in a year, we will do this regularly. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.